What's up, everybody? Welcome to Tranquilo La Casa. Today we have a very New York centric show. The New York City mayoral race is over. Mamdani, in a historical win, New York City's first socialist mayor. He ran on some very interesting promises, campaign promises. I don't believe he's going to deliver on any of them, but he did have some good campaign promises. The main one, I believe, was telling people that he was going to freeze the rents. Now, that sounds like a great idea. And I recently dropped a video talking about how the mayor doesn't have the unilateral power to make that decision himself to change that. And he doesn't. What the mayor does have the power to do is to appoint the 9-person committee that regulates the rents and regulates rent freezes over New York. So a lot of people think, oh my God, great, he's going to get that done. So what it's going to take is him picking 9 of his people. Once those 9 of those people are in, they will have to be so solid to not be allowed themselves to be influenced by any other player in New York City, the business capital of the world. So basically, these people are going to have to be 100,000% for it. So let's say all of that happens. He's able to bring people together and is able to get that rent freeze. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but that doesn't solve anything. That just keeps the prices where they're at for a short period of time, usually 1 or 2 years. You know what's going to happen at the end of the 1 or 2 years? Your rent is going to shoot back up. Whatever rate was supposed to go up in those years that it was frozen, now it's going to go up in one shot at the end of it. What you actually need is more housing. The housing crisis is not caused just because the prices go up arbitrarily. The prices go up because the demand for housing is greater than the amount of housing available. So what New York City needs is to invest in more housing. Who creates housing? Private investors come in and they build housing. How are private investors going to feel comfortable to come in and build housing when you're saying you want to increase payroll taxes, you want to increase taxes on people that make over $1 million? Like, how is that going to work? People that make over $1 million already pay over 50% of New York City's tax revenue. They cover more than half of the tax bill already. And let me give you guys another economic term here, since I told you about supply and demand and how the housing crisis is caused not by prices artificially going up, is because the demand for housing is greater than the housing that is available, and that causes prices to go up. So what New York City needs is more housing to be built, because there's been an influx of people that have come to the city over the last 4 years, and you know why they came there. It's a sanctuary city. A bunch of people have been coming to the country. So that's what's causing the housing to be more expensive. So what we need is not a rent freeze. We need more housing to be created. How do you entice investors to come in and build more housing? By taking away some of the regulation, expediting the permit process, giving them tax incentives so they could come in and build housing, and that housing in turn will stabilize the market and drive prices down. So that's a real solution right there. And then on the taxation part of it, the governor, Hochul, who's supported Mamdani, has already come out and said she's not going to raise taxes. And she's looking like she might not even win her race. And if the Republican lady that's running, I can't think of her name right now. If she wins, she's definitely not going to raise taxes. So that's out the window. Now, we can figure out how the universal child care plan, that's something that I think what he should try to do is to try to bring both sides together, the Republicans and the Democrats, to work on this together, because this is something that benefits everybody. But the way he started talking already in his press conference after he won, he already switched up. He got even more radical in that joint. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm hoping for the best, but I know there is a long history, pretty much the entire history of humanity since we started forming countries. Socialism has not worked anywhere. Anywhere. We have examples from the past, Russia, China. We have examples from the near past, Cuba. I can't think of the other Latin American countries that were socialist. And we have an example right now that's happening right now. We have Colombia and we have Venezuela. Okay? For those of you that don't know, Venezuela is probably the richest country in all of Latin America when it comes to natural resources. Venezuela has everything. They have gold, they have rare earth, they have oil, they have everything. So in a place that has everything, there is no reason other than mismanagement and socialism stealing all of your money, because the government handles everything, that people should be fleeing such a beautiful country with such great resources, and a country that's always been, as long as I've been alive, and I'm getting up there, it's always been in the top 10 in top 10 economy in America, in Latin America. So if that's not enough proof in the pudding for you, it's something else. And then the other thing is, like, his whole thing is like, oh, we got to get rid of all this rich people this, rich people that. Guess who's a rich person? Him. Like, this guy is not a New Yorker, how, like, we're New Yorkers. Like, him, he's that. So I don't understand, like, how are people falling for that? And the thing that this is when I knew this guy was full of it. Two things. And this is just some straight New York shit. So when Tom Homan was in New York for something in the beginning when Trump first got in, Homie's at his press conference doing all this shit, like, what are you gonna do? Like, joking his head. And there's a state trooper in front of him, and the state is an older gentleman, and he got like a smirk, like, dude, like why are you doing all that? You ain't finna be doing nothing up in here, bro. Like he acting crazy, like he wants to physically do something to Tom Homan, right? So I'm like, that's weird. Like, what? Like, that seems a little over the top. And then he goes to the park and he does the bench press challenge, which is a complete failure. So let me get this straight. So you're in a press conference acting like you want to physically assault another man with your movement and drive and doing all of this shit. But meanwhile, you can't even bench press a $135. So it's safe to assume that you can't. Like, all of that was an act. And then you took a picture in a subway eating a burrito and you put the burrito on the seat. Like there is no New Yorker that does that, brother. Like, and you tried to sell that to people as like, yeah, look, I'm a real New Yorker. I eat food on the train. Like, nobody does that. Like, so even in the things that he's trying to ingratiate himself with New Yorkers, he's not authentic. Like, it's all an act. It's all an act. And it's kind of crazy that I see that nobody seems to, like, be picking up on that. Or maybe I'm just, because I'm not there anymore. Maybe I'm just tripping. But, I hope I'm wrong. I hope to God I'm wrong. And I hope he turns out to be a great leader and does great things and changes the city around or whatever. But I don't think I am. I don't think I'm wrong about him at all. But nonetheless, the democratic process took place. He was elected, and he's going to get his shot starting January 1st. We'll see. We'll see. And moving on, I got some great news today. Well, not really great news. It was okay. Like, the Cowboys, everybody knows I'm a lifelong Cowboy fan, for better or worse. And I know people gonna talk shit. Like, it's whatever. Say whatever you want to say about me being a Cowboy fan. I don't care. It's all good. But I was ready to throw in the towel, man, when we lost to the Cardinals the other day. I was like, man, we can't stop a nosebleed. We out here letting Jacoby Brissett just run game on us crazy. But I will say this: this was a great trade. Quentin Williams is a great young player. We got him considerably cheaper than what we would have paid for Micah Parsons. We ended up getting a linebacker from Cincinnati, Logan Wilson, who's a tackling machine that should be able to help. Our linebacker crew is decimated. And it's a good move, but you know what? It might be a little bit too late. I don't know that we could really make a move this year. Like, our offense is great, and we don't. You know what? We might be able to sneak in the playoffs. Like, I'm not gonna do the typical Cowboy thing and be like, "Yo, this puts us back in contention." It really doesn't. The best that we can hope for is that we go on a little run, sneak in the playoffs, make some noise in the playoffs. But this puts us in a really good position going forward, going over to next year. Puts us in a really good spot. We got a ton of cap room available. We still got 2 first-round picks for next year's draft, so we're in a good position. We're in a really good position. And, you know, I was one of the people out there, not to toot my own horn, but sometimes if the only way you're horn, you know what? I'm going to just pause that whole thought. That was going to sound crazy. Anyhow, I was one of the few people saying that I actually liked the Micah trade. I thought Jerry did a good job on that. And, you know, it's coming to fruition. It's coming to fruition. Our defense is so bad that we could have had Micah Parsons, Reggie White, whoever on that line. Like, we were still going to stink. Like, the defense can't stop a nosebleed, man. This might literally be the worst defense ever. We needed to rebuild the whole thing. And this is not a knock on the players. We've had a lot of injuries. Like, our whole secondary's been injured all year long. The only starter that has consistently played this entire year in the secondary has been Deron Bland. And he's been hurt. He's missed time. So, you know, our defense has been horrible. Matt Eberflus loves to run this. The defensive coordinator loves to run this zone stuff where, like, it's 3rd and 5, and the cornerback is playing 10 yards off. You're just basically giving up the first down. So, and the Cowboys defense has given up the most first downs of any defense this year, maybe even in history, to the amount of games that we played. Nonetheless, I think Jerry's done a great job this year of putting the team together. If nothing else, we've had a very exciting season. Dak is playing out of his mind. We got the best receiver duo in the league. Javonte Williams is having a resurgent year. And Coach Schottenheimer, who I wasn't really thrilled at first, but he's doing a heck of a job. He's really changed the entire culture of the Cowboys, it seems like. So I feel really good about where we're at. No, this doesn't make us contenders this year, but this puts us in a good position going forward to be able to be a competitive team. And when I'm saying competitive team, I'm meaning like challenging for a Super Bowl, because the Cowboys are always competitive. We always have one of the better records in the league. So a bad year for the Cowboys is going 8-8. So put some respect on our name, all right? And moving on to my other favorite teams, you're going to see that I do a lot of heavy coverage on the teams that I love. My Lakers are playing very well. And there I say, some people might disagree with me, but they're playing better without LeBron. I've been saying this for a long time now, that not that LeBron is not a good player anymore, but it takes too much away from other guys for him to put up his stats. The days of LeBron being a ball-dominant player have to be over if the Lakers want to continue to build on what they're doing. Going forward, Luka should be your number 1 ball handler. Austin Reeves should be number 2. And LeBron should be the gap stop in between those two. Like the guy that runs the show when those guys are out of the game or when you're staggering the lineup. And the reason I think they should do that is because right now the Lakers seem like all the team roles are defined. Everybody knows what their role is on the team and is doing their best to excel in that role. If he comes back and he tries to be a ball-dominant player, and control the action and have everything go through him, that's going to be a disaster for the rest of the team. And this is what we're talking about in leadership. His basketball IQ is high enough that I know he sees that. I know he recognizes that. So, but this is a silver lining, and I hope that he takes this approach. He goes back and gets out there and becomes the ultimate team guy. Do whatever the team needs you to do. And that doesn't mean that you're going to go back to averaging 10 points or something like that. No. That just tone it down a little bit. Maybe be more of a facilitator, be a better rebounder, be a better screen setter. And then there's going to be times that we're still going to need you to be LeBron James and take over and conserve your energy and do that. But we need our offense, especially in the regular season, to run through Austin Reeves and Luka. And for you to just be sort of like a spot superstar. Like whenever you're, you feel like you feeling it that night, let's go get it. Let's go have a magical moment. And I think this is my plan for LeBron if he wants to salvage whatever is left of his image as far as the GOAT comparison. Because, come on, it's LeBron James here. Top 3, top 5, whatever you want to call it, over it. There's no disrespect there. But if he's able to sort of change his game and morph into more of a leader and a clutch player and make the right play at the right time type of guy, and he could squeeze out maybe 1 or 2 championships, super pause on that, super pause, no Diddy, all that. That would certainly change the narrative around him, and it would change it in such a way because it would take such a monumental effort on his part to adapt and adjust. And I think, and this is going to be the biggest compliment I'll ever give LeBron, I don't think there's ever been a player in the history of the NBA that has both the physical ability and the skill set to go with it to be more flexible and interchangeable in the roles that he can do on the basketball court. So LeBron could become a dominant power forward, a dominant, setter screen, flare to the wing, stand-up 3, mid-range dominant player. He could do that at this stage of his career, and that would be the best thing for the Lakers right now. Will he do that? I don't know. Does J.J. Redick have enough cachet to demand that of him, like a Phil Jackson would demand of Michael or Kobe to tone down their games a little bit? I don't know. I don't know that J.J. Redick has the ability to do that, and I don't know that how LeBron, if he will even listen to that. But if somehow this gets to you, LeBron, that's the play, brother. That's the play. You're the missing link. You could be the guy that last piece, that other superstar that we don't need you to be LeBron James every night. We need you to be spot LeBron James. When we need you to put the cape on is going to be obvious. Like, these guys can't get it going. All right, let me go do my thing. But other than that, we just need you to be, a superstar in your role. And I think it's time because you're in year 23, I believe, or year 22. And it fits perfect with what I think you should be doing, right? You should be trying to play until you're 25 years in the league. That should be your goal. The marketing, angles are endless. And then you could run with the king stuff and leave the GOAT alone stuff. Leave the king, 25-year reign. So much material there. So much ability for the media, everybody to paint you in a good light because we're looking at you through a different vernacular. We're looking and celebrating your greatness over such a long period of time, because dominance over a career and winning, you're just not going to catch Michael in that. Like, we've seen it statistically, you're not going to catch him. Like, you're 23 years in and you're still chasing him. But if you go and run with this moniker of the king, it would be dope to talk about LeBron's career as being the king of the NBA because of his long reign for 25 years. That'll be fire. Well, bye, everybody. That's all for this week. Remember to subscribe, comment, share, and follow me on Instagram at SmokePoppyRoll. Bye, everybody.